Okay. All right, we have signal on the live channel. I just need to be sure that we're live also on the main channel. Just give me a second, please. Okay. Guys, I'm so sorry. And I know it's late. Yeah, so gardening, we're here, okay? We're on the software I said I would abandon. Yeah, so we're here. So let me see if we're live on the main channel. Just give me a second. Now, the problem with this setup is when people on both sides chat, it doesn't cross post. So that's the problem with this setup. So Intergalactic, you're on the live channel. Gardening is on the main channel, or at least she's on the main channel from what I can see here. So we don't have the cross post feature. So I'm going to, we're going to just try to communicate as best we can. And if you're chatting, okay, is Chrissy back? Because I couldn't talk. I would start talking and the thing would just cut off. So guys, I'm so sorry that happened. I can't even see how many people are on right now. So I'm just going to fly blind for now. We'll fix this later. Don't see Chrissy back yet. Yeah. So well, maybe she's back and she hasn't posted a chat yet. Okay. So yeah. So we're just going to dive right into the the videos that we have for tonight. This is crazy, but I'm just gonna shake it off. Let's go. So let's play this video. It's one of those videos that you kind of like to watch.
If Donald Trump found the cure to cancer, people at this table would be upset about how he did it. People on the political left would go crazy about how he did it.
Yep. If Trump cured cancer, and I've said it many times, like, no matter what Trump does, Trump could hang the moon and they would find the reason why it's a bad thing. Okay, we're gonna look at something that's been going on in Washington, D.C. I've seen reports on it. I sidestepped it, but it's coming back again and again. So we're going to talk about it tonight. Now, here's Scott Jennings, okay? Essentially, this is about Elon because it's Trump, and if you're connected to Trump, they attack you and so on. Okay, Intergalactic Wrangler says, hang on, Intergalactic Wrangler says, looks good. Thank you, Intergalactic Wrangler. I just want you guys to know that I see you. And I am doing my best to kind of figure out this new tech. You guys seem to love it, so we'll keep using it. Okay, let's go.
You're saying because Elon Musk exists and is a wild success, that is somehow to the detriment of all the people you're mentioning? Elon is creating an environment where entrepreneurship, where success, where building is celebrated. The only reason anybody's mad about this, let's just be honest, is because he supported Donald Trump for president. If Elon Musk had never gotten involved in politics, had never supported Trump, he'd be getting ticker tape parades right now for building this amazing company and sending rockets into space. It's all political, and the people who should love Elon Musk are the ones who hate him for that reason.
But do you agree that one person should have control of American policy? That's what influence is.
You see, the problem these people have is that the person who they claim has control over policy isn't one of them. That's the problem they have. And I don't think Elon wields that kind of power. I don't think he does. Unless he does and I'm naive. I'm stupid or I'm naive. But I don't think he does.
That's what money does.
He doesn't. He doesn't. He loses. He invests.
Oh, that's what money does. The leftist argument that it's the guns. It's not the person holding the gun. It's the guns. Now it's the money. So simply having money makes you a bad person. That's the argument that they're trying to push. simply having money makes you a bad person unless you're on their side.
Versus and loses. He's like anybody else who donates money, like Reid
access
Hoffman.
to the White House, and it's all about access. It is all about access to the United States.
Okay,
he
I'm
supported
glad
a candidate who won.
No, I'm just telling you, it's all about access, and it's not about just Donald Trump. It is about, there are races all across the country where he has access on policy.
Call me when you're mad
like
about
in Texas,
Alex Soros.
like in Texas.
Yeah. Elon is just the wrong billionaire, okay? He's not Alex Soros, okay? He's not the billionaires that help them fund protests all over the country, that bankrolls all of the leftist policies that they push, that help them lobby insane policies. He's the wrong kind of billionaire. It's like Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders says, the oligarchs. He started out with, it's the millionaires, and then he became a millionaire. So he's the right kind of millionaire, but he can't keep saying millionaire. So he switched over to, it's the billionaires. Okay, it's the leftist grift all over again. Right, now I am going to, now how am I going to do this? Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to have to switch between, hold on. Yeah, so this is all new. I'm trying to find my tools. I'm trying to find my tools. Give me a second, please. Trying to find my tools and make sure I flip over. Okay, so in this story, the next story, we're going to look at California for a bit. We're going to look at California for a bit. California has been in the news. Gavin Newsom is whining about the Trump administration opening investigations against what they're doing, against his his corruption in California. He's corrupt. His wife is corrupt. Everybody is corrupt. The elections have essentially been I don't swear, but a ish show. And there's an investigation ongoing. The DOJ has opened an investigation on the elections in California. Now, if you watch the All In podcast is made up of venture capitalist investors who at first were supportive of Democrat policies. They were Democrats themselves. They donated to Democrat causes. And then during the Biden administration, they realized how destructive the Democrat policies had become, not just to regular Americans who are concerned that boys are using the same bathrooms as their daughters, but for businesses that realized that the government was slowly beginning to create policies that entangled the government's influence with their businesses. So any business that wasn't towing the party line got shut out. You remember what happened to Elon? Elon essentially had built or has built the most successful EV company in the world. All the other EV companies are playing catch up. All the other EV companies essentially buy his batteries. They buy his batteries. His technology is light years ahead of theirs. But guess what happened when Joe Biden decided to have an EV summit at the White House? They shut Elon out. Why? Because Elon was no longer part of the group. So they realized this and they essentially began to back conservative causes. Now, here's what they have to say about the LA mayoral elections.
For mathematical and statistical literacy. And what happened here is mathematically and statistically
So nobody has any
impossible.
Steelman or concept of how this could have happened.
I can tell you the statistical odds that this would have happened, and it's 1 in a trillion.
Okay. What if?
So are you telling me the 1 in a trillion shot hit?
I'm asking if
Really?
there is any. I'm not.
Just this one time?
I'm not.
So they're saying that the fact that the mayoral race was flipped the way it did during the the vote count, the ballot dumps in the middle of the night, and it flipped overnight to the point where the second Democrat candidate, Ms. Rahman, who had already essentially conceded that she had lost the election, suddenly beat Pratt. Let's see. China's EVs are in a graveyard of new cars. Yeah. That's what Intergalactic Wrangler says. Yeah, so they essentially said that what happened in California is statistically impossible. Okay, now when you say something is statistically impossible, that means that there was foul play afoot. Now we're going to watch what they had to say. They're going to add, I set the tone. Tony, good to see you in the chat. Thanks for joining. Thank you for joining. Now, here's what they also had to say about the source of Nithya Rahman's votes.
Don't know if there's a socio-political way that you can assess those statistics and assume that these are individuals casting their individual vote for who they think should be mayor of LA. And Nick, if you'll just pull up the map, which I think is worth taking a look at, basically the concentration of incremental votes that Nithya Rahman got came around the Skid Row area in Los Angeles. And look, I'm not an election denier. I'm not someone who's historically believed the idea that elections are fraud and people have stolen votes. But when you look at the basic statistics of what happened in person, mail-in before, mail-in after election day, it becomes a real statistical quagmire on how did this sort of a socio-political shift happen in such a way that it did. Now, there was a report published, Nick, if you could pull this up, by the U.S. House of Representatives Committee on House Administration. This was published in May of 2020. And they highlighted the 2018 California midterm elections and the challenges they saw arise in that midterm elections because of some of the legislative changes that were made. First, California Assembly Bill 1921 legalized the practice of unlimited ballot harvesting in the state.
So the Democrats legalized cheating. You know, it's a fancy way to say it. They legalized unlimited ballot harvesting. That's a backdoor way of saying keep counting until you win.
This was passed around 2018, around the midterms. What that means is that any individual in the state of California has the right to go and collect ballots from any other individuals, regardless of relationship, fill them out, and send them in. California, 2 years later, 18 months later, also passed a law that made it permanent that every person registered in the state of California would get a ballot. So tens of millions of ballots then get mailed out. Then there was another series of laws that were passed that said anyone can register to vote. You don't need to prove your citizenship. You can use a gym membership card as an example. So anyone can register to vote. There is no proof of ID when you get a ballot. There is no demonstration that the person who fills out the ballot has anything to do with the individual who's supposed to be voting that ballot. Yep. And it is legal for an individual to go out and collect hundreds or thousands of ballots, ship them in, and they will all qualify in these kind of mail-in ballot voting processes.
Gardening, you're right. When you legalize cheating, you don't commit crimes or fraud. You legalize crime, there isn't any crime. Okay? It's like saying you can't say that you're a man or a woman. What is a woman? Okay? It's no longer sex, it's gender. It's whatever you feel you are. Now they're applying the same loose definitions to crime. Oh, you didn't break any laws by breaking into the country without going through a port of entry. Okay, you figured out a way to break in illegally, and they removed the word illegal and said, no, they're just undocumented. No one is illegal. And then when you actually conclude that, okay, they came in illegally. Oh no, it's not a criminal offense. It's a civil offense. You crossed a federal border. They broke the law. That's the game these leftists are playing.
So there's nothing illegal or fraudulent going on. In fact, the system is operating exactly as intended.
Yeah.
It has been set up and structured in a way that with the right construct, you can get an individual appointed, not elected, but appointed to a particular role in government under a, quote, free election in California. This is a foundational destruction of our rights to vote for people in a free democracy. I feel it's been eroded slowly over time to such an extent now, and I'm not some crazy MAGA motherfucker or whatever people want to classify me as for pointing this out, but you can go down this list. They are all written out in this document. Every one of these laws that were passed in California over time that in aggregate create the environment and the construction for elections to become appointments and no longer free democratic elections, where the principle, very importantly, the principle should be one individual, one vote.
One vote, yeah.
And if you opt to not vote, your vote should not be counted. So I think that there's no fraud. I don't think that there's anything illegal.
Sounds like you believe there's massive fraud.
Yeah, I think this is not fraud. This is the way the laws are set up.
It's not fraud.
It's the way the law is set up. Don't know.
So this is hold on. Let me find this video. So this is a video that I found while I was researching this. Unbelievable, but this kind of election fraud is commonplace in California. Okay? When will the DOJ or anyone do something about it? Let's listen to this.
I could vote 7 times. Having a conversation about election fraud is no longer the solution. That's the distraction because we already know what to do. Look at these mail-in ballots that I have access to. But don't worry, I won't, because in California, that probably doesn't matter anyway. But this is why mail-in ballots are bad for California. If we can go to the DMV, we could go to the polls. And we can't be using outlier reasons why we need to have this state-of-the-art new process riddled with loopholes. I'm just making a point because I know that there are rentals that have 30+ ballots going there, and who knows what's happening to them, because you can't prove or disprove election fraud. This is why California needs better protection for its citizens.
Yeah, so he has 7 ballots. Some people get 30 ballots. And if they're Democrats and they want to win so bad, and the state needs for them to support the Democrat cause, they fill out all 30 ballots. Intergalactic Wrangler is pissed. Look, I should be screaming by now, but I think my Democrat computer or internet connection decided to slow me down and exhaust me while I was trying to fix the internet connection issue or the stream issue that came up earlier in the stream. Yeah, so I'm sorry, but it seems like the worst insult you can call something right now is to call it a Democrat. Okay, I'm just being funny here, but just imagine that there are thousands of apartments in California receiving upwards of 10 to 30 ballots, and they decided that it would be permanent. And here's another video that I found. Okay, we'll just watch it and then we'll move on to something else happening in Washington, D.C.
The Democrats in our legislature in Sacramento kicked me off my elections committee for fighting for you, the voters, and speaking up on voter ID.
I'm on the website for the state of California
so they kicked him
register to vote. On the section where you put in your driver's license, your last 4 of your social, there's a box underneath each one that says, I don't have one. I don't have one. And then you're allowed to proceed to go to vote. What is the agenda here?
Wow.
Why do we let people register to vote and we don't verify their immigration status? We need to instill confidence in our elections. We need the public to know and trust that when we vote, it's secured and your vote counts equally. This idea that you're not allowed to register to vote unless you present some sort of identification is not accurate. It's not true. It's not being implemented in the state of California.
But guess what? We're going to go around them. That's why today we're announcing our voter ID ballot initiative. We're going to go around the legislature, get signatures directly from the voters, and we're going to put it on the ballot in 2026. California is going to have voter ID one way or another, with or without the Democrats here.
I don't think he's going to succeed. I don't think he's going to succeed. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. I don't think he's going to succeed. Am I being a doom and gloom person? Am I? Is Tony still in the chat? He's conspicuously quiet about this because usually he'll be raging and frothing about this. But the thing is, when you have a corrupt legislation or legislature like you have in California that routinely writes laws to entrench corruption, the Stop Nick Shirley Act, anyone? A guy discovered fraud. You guys claimed that you had under control. He discovers it. And instead of saying, wow, we didn't know that was happening. Good job. Thank you so much. You saved our citizens billions of dollars. Oh, they got together and said, this guy is ruining our grift. We need to take care of him and send a message to any other copycat who wants to do the same thing that he's just did. And so what did they do? They wrote laws to criminalize investigative journalism that exposes their corruption. This is who these people are. And then when you have the likes of Hakeem Jeffries saying this.
The state of California. Leader Jeffries, looking at the state of California, the state has rampant SNAP fraud, hospice fraud, immigration fraud. Are we really supposed to believe there's no election fraud in California? And if so, if there's no election fraud, then why would California Democrats refuse a federal audit?
California is a great place to live. I appreciate the leadership of Governor Gavin Newsom, as well as, of course, the California delegation. This is a tremendous group of public servants. There is no election fraud in California. Donald Trump is making it up. He can't point to a shred of evidence to prove his point. This is all a conspiracy theory because Donald Trump knows in November he's going down in flames electorally and Republicans are about to lose the House.
Sorry, Donald Trump is not on the ballot in November. So he's not going down in flames. Hakeem Jeffries says the most cringe stuff. You know, it's a wonder he can find his way to the bathroom. Anyway, let's move on. Now, let's see. Intergalactic says the liberals have an infection of communists and it's growing. Socialists. Yes, they are. Gardening says no evidence. Donald Trump. That's exact. Look, you know, these days. Take a look at it. Sorry. In the early days of me paying attention to all of this that was going on, and this is coming from pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, and then it went gangbusters during the Biden administration. And I've said it many times how this bothered me so much that at one point I felt like I was having a panic attack, or I was about to have a panic attack. And I had to figure out how to deal with this because I need to know what's going on. I need to watch the news. And it used to bother me and get me really upset. And sometimes it gets me really upset. But you know, I was watching all of this evening, and I felt to myself, why isn't this getting me so worked up? One part of me thought to myself, maybe it's because I just saw the worst thing that I could ever see with that report we saw yesterday on the 250,000 girls who had been sexually assaulted over 50 years. I think that basically knocked the breath out of me. So when I see a Hakeem Jeffries, I'm like, he doesn't look so bad when you look at what these clowns in Europe are doing. But guys, I'm not giving him a pass. Okay, I'm not giving him a pass. All right, now President Trump fixes the reflecting pool, and a week later, it's green again, loaded with algae. Some people think it's sabotage, and this was a report I saw earlier this week, and I was like, I don't want to talk about this, but let's listen to this report. We're going to look at this because this ends in a stupid, cringe way. Like, the Democrats have essentially become the court jester. They're like, they're the fools that Shakespeare used to write about. Okay, the court fools. That's who they seem to have become right now.
Oh man, take a look at this. The reflecting pool's green.
It was supposed to be completely
black. Yeah.
I mean, we just saw it like a week ago. It was like crystal clear blue, beautiful.
All that, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
There's algae in here again. I feel like it's sabotage.
That wouldn't shock me either.
Why is it like this? Because it's gooey at the other end, and we walked this whole thing. We're like, there's
nice
no way that something like this. And the very opposite side is the World War II memorial. Right. The water's fine. Why is this? So something happened here.
I mean, they had just literally fixed this.
Obama spent $32 million, and it never held water. Trump spends 14, and they go crazy.
Sorry, Obama spent, $32 million on this pool, and it never held water, and there was no outrage. Mainstream media felt it was totally fine, like he was doing his job by wasting $32 million on a project that never worked. Intergalactic Wrangler says, gooey, wonderful.
Pumping something into this. I don't know if it's air or what, and what a shame. Because in the end, after all the work that was done, after as proud as I was of President Trump for finally getting this thing fixed, we're back to green. And again, is it nefarious? I tend to think so. You wouldn't have so much algae that you see in here. You would not have that quickly unless somebody did something. I'm telling you.
Now, they think it's sabotage. All right, they think it's sabotage, and CNN decided that they were going to get to the bottom of this. If there's something nefarious happening, if the president is telling us that the reflecting pool is the most beautiful thing in Washington, D.C., and it's not working, they're going to get to the bottom of this. And CNN decided that they were going to investigate. Okay, now they caught a lot of flack for doing this, because the fact that CNN, this post says, the fact that CNN investigated and then tested the color and quality of the reflecting pool water more than the billions in fraud happening in states like Minnesota and California should tell you everything you need to know about the hacks that they are. I tend to agree. Okay, because when they were investigating the fraud in Minnesota, it was tantamount to picking up the phone and saying, are you guys committing fraud? Oh, no, we are not committing fraud. Oh, you're not? Oh, I guess Nick Shirley, the MAGA YouTuber, is wrong. That was the extent of their investigation. Okay, so here they are investigating the color of the pool.
And we're going to scoop up a water sample to see if we can get this tested.
CNN independently took the sample of water and consulted with a pool store that regularly tests water to help read the results. It showed phosphate levels far higher than what is recommended to keep algae at bay based on estimates for a pool that holds 6.5 million gallons of water.
If there's already some phosphate fertilizer in the water, that's really opportunistic, especially for the blue-green algae that can fix nitrogen. So they are having a field day out here, probably.
The Department of Interior says they believe some of the initial problem was residual algae that had accumulated in pipes, and insists the filtration system called the ozone nanobubbler is working.
And we're going to...
Okay, I just saw this comment here. It says, it's pure comedy gold at this point. We don't even need the Babylon Bee anymore because satire and real life have converged. we're living in upside down world, guys. Upside down world. You're supposed to be investigating fraud, and you're out here investigating the color of pool water. Was it J.D. Vance that said Trump should throw them and say, of course it's turning green because we are becoming so rich? Got lots of green now. Well, maybe. The report claims that the Department of the Interior claims that there may have been infected pipes that pumped out algae and it's being cleaned out. I don't know. But people thought that there was foul play. People thought that there was something going on that was afoot. Now, while the Trump administration is busy trying to fix this situation, oh, it was Scott Jennings. Okay, it was actually Scott Jennings. Okay, so while the Trump administration is trying to fix this situation, okay, the National Guard has been deployed. Okay, the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool is now under increased National Guard and Park Police Patrol protection amid leftist threats to sabotage the pool. And why do they want to sabotage the pool? To make Trump look bad. Why is CNN taking the time to scoop up pool water? Nobody saw them scooping up algae when Obama failed to fix the reflecting pool. Like, there are videos on X that show that the pool was filthy, and nobody was standing there with a sample cup trying to measure the amount of algae that the pool had amassed during Obama's time in office. So it's all hypocrisy. It's just hypocrisy. Now, the Trump administration is cleaning the pool. Can anyone guess what's happening now that algae is being cleaned from the pool? Just give me a wild guess. Trump says we're cleaning the algae. What do you think the leftists will do? I know there's a delay. Algae. Okay, algae sounds like, well, I pronounce it algae because of the spelling. I've heard people pronounce it algae. So which is it? Okay, is it algae or algae? Okay, so let me know in the chat. Now, algae. Okay, yeah. So send in your votes. Send in your votes. So what are the leftists doing now that Trump says it's algae? It is G. Okay. What do you think Trump? What do you think leftists? I'm gonna put this up so that everyone sees your nice big smile. What do you think the leftists are doing right now that Trump says, I'm going to cure cancer? They protest that Trump is curing cancer. That's exactly what's going on here, guys. Just watch this. So these clowns, there's a pro-algae. There's a pro. Okay, I'm gonna pause. These guys here. There's a pro-algae protest happening at the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool. Yeah, a pro-algae protest. All right, this is the final boss of retards. Excuse me. Look, the crazy people have taken over the asylum. Okay, these guys are voters. These are the people that the Democrat Party is pandering to. All right, these guys. It's just clear that what the guy who we watched earlier said is true. If Trump cures cancer, there will be videos for days. There will be protests. There will be stop Trump from destroying cancer. There'll be a no cure protest. Okay, you know how they said there's a no kings protest? They will come up with with something new to claim that it's illegal. No cancer is illegal. In fact, leftist doctors will come out and claim that cancer isn't really a disease. It's not a disease. No, it's not a disease. All because Trump steps out to say, I'm going to cure cancer. All right. So predictable. Now, just a quick update on the people who plan to cause chaos at the UFC 250 event. There's a 32-year-old called Daniel Hayes Scrimmage who has been charged in the White House UFC terror plot, and another accomplice is also going to be mentioned in the next video. So we're going to watch this, and then you guys give me your thoughts.
Having 23 members in it. Today, 32-year-old Daniel Eskridge is set to appear before a judge today on conspiracy charges. Court documents state that Eskridge posted to that Signal chat the plan was to wage war on an illegitimate government. The men arrested in the plot also include a 19-year-old from Ohio, a 24-year-old and 32-year-old, both from California, and a 31-year-old from Nebraska. Now, this terror was set to unfold in stages. We've learned this attack by explosives raining down. That would be the first thing. They would come down from drones at or near the UFC event at the White House Sunday, which would then force a mass evacuation, at which time attackers would storm the White House gate and snipers target administration officials, other high-valued individuals. UFC President Dana White is praising the FBI for their action in foiling this plot. They say that he says that there were additional threats made on that event. Listen.
Did you have any idea that this was happening? Somebody was apparently planning to do something horrible on Sunday.
Yeah, there was more than that. There was more than that. And yes, I was in the loop on all of the stuff that was happening in real time. These are the kind of events that bring the nuts out. You know what I mean?
Well, the Department of Justice is citing the planned attack and threats in an appeal to federal court to allow construction of the president's ballroom to continue, which the president says is coming along fantastically well. It's on time and under budget, he says. It is desperately needed and will be very special. Now, we mentioned the additional suspects potentially in this case, and one law enforcement source tells Fox that officials believe that they do already have the most imminent threat actor in custody, guys.
Wow. So that was one of the actors who was arraigned. Now, remember that clown on TDSBC who said the real threat to the United States of America is Donald Trump. Look, anyone who can say that with a straight face needs to be committed, because they are not of sound mind. And the entirety of the TDSBC team needs to be committed, because they've been saying this for 5 years. They said it while he was in office. They said, oh, he'll never leave office. He left office. Oh, he started an insurrection, with no evidence that he started an insurrection, apart from the made-up, edited clips that they put together and promoted and pushed. Lie after lie after lie that has been debunked. And you know what? They keep screaming it. They must be insane. Intergalactic Wrangler says, I didn't follow this terrorist plot. Look, while we were busy celebrating Flag Day in awe of the entire event, even though we didn't watch the entire event, and the UFC copyright claimed the video, so I had to cut out those parts of the live stream which were epic. While we were celebrating all of that, these people were being organized by an illegal alien who led the group to plan this attack. Let's have a listen.
Is an illegal immigrant. Abraham Alvarez, a 31-year-old from Mexico, who came here as a child, overstayed his visa, and then allowed to stay under the DACA program during the Obama administration, the so-called Dreamers. Former FBI investigator Bill Daley joins us now. Bill, this is a hideous plot. It looks as though there's some type of military in the background. It seems as though they've had a few phases to it, and now we find out an illegal is behind it. What's your conclusion?
Well, I kind of summed up with probably three words, chilling, stunning, and certainly gravely concerning. Brian, you just indicated that this individual, Alvarez, who I believe went by the handle as the Shepherd in this online chat through this encrypted app, was here overstaying his visa. We know that in 9/11, there were at least 5 or so of those hijackers who were here in the country who also overstayed their visa. So what have we not learned since that time? Brian, there are a number of different facets to this story, and a couple that kind of jump out at me, which are really significant. First of all, these were not just kids. These weren't kids fantasizing about a destiny down in their basement playing video games. These were people who were from 19 to early 30s who got together on an online chat. And at this point, there are 5 who've been arrested. There are apparently about 23 people in total who are on this chat, and they all came up with this sinister plan to attack the White House and the UFC event.
So, I'm trying to be respectful of your time. You guys have been amazing. So I'm not going to play the entire video like I planned, but these are the kinds of people that come in, and you if you're watching and you don't know, I'm an immigrant. Okay, I'm not from around here. Not everyone who's an immigrant supports this insanity. Not everyone who's an immigrant believes the lies of the Democrat Party. Not everyone who's an immigrant is stupid enough to vote for policies that destroyed the countries we came from. And so when I watch these kinds of stories, it infuriates me for several reasons. The first reason is this ruins the chances for everyone else who genuinely wants to come to the United States to make a life for them and their family, and also to be a blessing to the United States. It ruins the chances of that because of animals like this who have been given a golden opportunity through a program, questionable program, but again, it gave him the opportunity to stay in the States. And you know what? I'm sure that there are other people who overstayed their visa as children, and they were brought under that program. Now, this person has ruined the chances of anyone else who is in that predicament, who would be a net positive to the United States, to receive that same grace. Because for the thousands of people who come to the United States to make a good life for themselves, there's always a handful of morons who do stuff like this, who commit crimes, and then they become the poster child for why this is a bad idea. Okay? And I will be the first to say, if you need to shut out bad actors like this guy, there's no, I don't have a defense for that, because you're looking at the end game of the Democrat Party. Bring in as many animals as you possibly can, weaken the Republic by allowing them to vote without ID, have a perpetual Democrat regime, call everybody who pointed out a Nazi and a racist, prosecute your political opponents till you wipe them out, take away the Second Amendment, buy back guns, disarm the population, take away their First Amendment. insist that anyone who says anything that the government doesn't like is arrested and put in prison, double down on the insane immigration policies where immigrants who hate America, who have zero connection to the roots of America, come in, and then their plan is to outbreed the citizens and eventually have grooming gangs. We looked at what's happening in Europe. We looked at it yesterday. And as infuriating as that was, I would say America needs to keep looking at what's going on in Europe, because that is going to happen in the United States if nothing serious happens. Intergalactic Wrangler says, crazy housewives that just sit around and watch The View all day, they don't know they are stupid. They don't. And then Intergalactic Wrangler says, propaganda is real and it works. While we were having the technical difficulties that we had earlier, I said something that was lost to the technical difficulties. I said that when you tell a lie, a big lie, enough times, people eventually believe it. And that's what The View is. That's what mainstream media is. They tell all these big lies. And the thing that stopped them from succeeding was the fact that Elon bought X. Elon has become the mortal enemy of the left because he bought Twitter. They couldn't lie with impunity and silence dissent anymore. They couldn't. All the truth was leaking out at X. Now, Rouhana, I'm going to talk about Rouhana for a bit here. All right. He was asked. He made a statement because the Democrats are trying to block the Save America Act, the SAVE Act. You have rhinos in the GOP or cowards in the GOP who don't want to push the Save America Act. And then you have guys, running this live stream is testing my Christianity. And then you have people like Rouhana. And then you have people like Rouhana who routinely say stupid stuff like this. And for the ladies who are watching, you guys just let me know if Rouhana speaks for you.
That's the law. Elections have been lost by a couple of votes. So just to say, oh, it's not a lot, that's not an answer, sir.
But people have been fear-mongering that when that's not an issue in the election. And the reality is you have in cases of women, some of the in the cases of some people who are married, that you want them, if they've changed their name, to go and have to prove that with their birth certificate to a registrar
What's
that
the
they
problem?
changed
Get
the
your
name.
birth certificate. Yes, that's the law. You can't vote if you're not an American citizen. Yes, get your birth certificate. Yes, that's exactly right.
No
problem.
You know what?
I wanted a copy of my birth certificate. I went online. I got the birth certificate. I've got it. It took a week. No.
Now he's arguing with a woman. And he's disarmed because he can't push back to claim that he's speaking for women when a woman is literally telling him it's easy to get your birth certificate. But when they talk to these leftists from Hollywood who try to push the hoax that the Save America Act is going to prevent them from voting because they can't find their birth certificate, all right? It's annoying to watch, but it's good to know that it's happening. Intergalactic Wrangler says, Elon fighting for free speech. I think he genuinely means well. Look, Elon is not perfect, just like Donald Trump is not perfect. All right, for those of you who are watching that think I just committed blasphemy Okay, you guys can stone me later. Okay, you can take me out to the back of the barn and stone me later. But Trump is not perfect. All right, he does things that aren't perfect. But the things that Elon has done to move civilization, at least to preserve civilization, not move it forward, but to preserve it. Okay, before we talk about the inventions that he is creating, at least he's protecting civilization by allowing free speech on X. We're finding out about all of the atrocities of the grooming gangs because of X. We're finding out all of these things because he bought Twitter. So yes, he may not be perfect, but he means well. I agree.
Problem.
You know, I'm proud of my birth certificate because I'm a bicentennial baby born in Philadelphia, but I don't think people should have to go get their birth certificates and go to the registrar. We have a system that is a system that allows people to vote if they're citizens. And by the way,
how do you prove you're a citizen? You know, these guys are lucky. They're lucky that the conservatives and Republicans aren't unhinged like their voters. They're lucky. I'll leave it there because the next thing I was about to say will put the channel in trouble.
Wait, if you're not a citizen and you vote, you should have enormous penalties, consequences. I'm for making sure that
but we don't know because we don't have
who are voting illegally.
Yeah, and your Democrat colleagues in blue cities and states are suing the federal government for asking for their voter rolls. Okay, we don't believe a word these liars tell us anymore. Like I'm done believing them. Rokana, I look on every single Democrat with suspicion, including John Fetterman, including him. I don't think, and this is me. I'm saying this because I have family who are Democrats. I have family who are Democrats. I don't think anyone with a conscience who has an awareness of right and wrong, and I honestly don't think a Christian, someone who is serious about following Jesus, can vote Democrat exclusively. I don't think so. Again, those of you who don't think so, pick up your stones and throw at me. But if you want to ask me why I don't think so, then ask why. And then we'll have a conversation. Okay? Because look at the arguments he's making and look at the civilization ending policies that they push. There's no other argument to make but that they just want to end Western civilization. Intergalactic Wrangler says something very significant, and I happen to have a video queued up about this. I happen to have a video queued up about it. Now, I'm going to play it right now, okay? Now, this post says, communism has taken over the Democrat Party.
The median Democrat now agrees with the far-left progressives. In fact, I don't even think it's really helpful to make a distinction between the two at this point. Here are just some of a few points from the Democratic Socialists of America's platform. Medicare for all, college for all, tax the rich, Green New Deal, free Palestine, on and on and on. That's literally the platform of the Democratic Party. So the reason why they keep running these far-left candidates is because that is where the Democratic Party is now. They don't actually ideologically disagree with these people on anything. The median Democrat now agrees with...
So the Democrat Party, and I've said it many times. I've said it many times during our time together. I've said it many times. And at the risk of sounding repetitive, I'm going to keep saying it. It's the Antifa party. It's the party of criminals, sexual deviants, and illegal aliens. Their voting base has been changed. They have to pander to the most fringe and extreme groups of people who have come under the tent of the Democrat Party. That is who the voters are. The voters now are demanding for more extreme and violent candidates to rise up. That is why you can get a Zoran Mamdani as the mayor of New York, an Islamist socialist. New York that suffered the worst attack in American history with 9/11, voted for someone who has a great relationship with a terrorist apologist. They had pictures of this guy with a terrorist apologist. People said, oh, don't believe that, it's propaganda. You had many lies that he told on the campaign trail, covered up by the mainstream media and shoved aside by people who just wanted, to win as Democrats. He said his auntie was afraid of going into the subway because after 9/11, people looked at her suspiciously because she wore a hijab. It came about that he was lying because that auntie didn't live in the United States at the time. They overlooked all the lies, just like they overlooked the lies of the current state attorney general now in Virginia, who wished for the children of his political opponents to die, that they would watch their kids die and maybe they would vote differently. We talked about it. The story was everywhere. Democrats refused to distance themselves from him and call for him to step down from the campaign. And guess what? He won. The Democrat Party has been overrun by socialists, just like Intergalactic Wrangler said earlier. All right, now we're going to speed run through the Gavin Newsom drama because it's drama. We played this video a couple of days back, and let's watch the full drama of Gavin Newsom whining and crying and trying to do this whole I'm a family man thing, and they're trying to attack my wife, and I love you so much. Like, no one believes it, but it plays well for the camera.
In recent days, federal agents have knocked on the doors of family, friends, and former employees. Not because they found a crime, because they're simply trying to find one. They're demanding records. They're abusing the grand jury process, digging through years and years of random documents. Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president, because he hates that I've consistently called him out over and over again for his lies and deceit. Donald Trump is simply the most corrupt president in American history. He's turned the levers of government into his own personal power ministries.
So Gavin Newsom calling someone else corrupt is the richest thing I've seen in recent memory, because Gavin Newsom, everyone knows, has been running a racket in California for the last decade. All right. There's a high-speed rail that has been in construction for what, 20 years now, almost 20 years now. And they are, as at last year, they're yet to have laid even a mile of track. I'm not even sure it's even half a mile of track laid yet, after billions and billions of dollars have been spent. Gavin Newsom had a program that was supposed to be a data or emergency system that was supposed to be built into the phone lines or phone system of California. And they raised all this money only for them to jettison it to say it's not working. What happened to all the money? No one is talking. Renovations to his government building, his I think is his office complex, has been shrouded in secrecy because he's refused to release the actual spending that has happened on that. But he goes on press tours talking about the ballroom, the White House ballroom. I can go on and on and on, guys. I can go on and on. Guys, I don't live in the United States and I know all this about this clown. And he has the gall to stand here and say that President Trump is the most corrupt. Let's
to reward cronies and to try to jail his opponents. His personal attorney now runs the Department of Justice, which has repeatedly gone after his political enemies.
Like they did
Ask
him.
Jerome Powell. Sent them after James Comey, Trish James, Adam Schiff. He sent them after Tim Walz, and a woman that a jury found Donald Trump had sexually abused. One by one, anyone who has challenged.
Good night, Intergalactic. Thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for hanging in there. I'll catch you tomorrow.
Donald Trump has ended up on his hit list. And today, I proudly joined that list to find one.
Oops, sorry, I meant to pause it. Okay. I don't want to go, sorry. I don't want to push this too hard. Well, it turns out that I was going to play the whole thing, but I just realized, okay, we are behind. Like we took a hit for time, so we're behind. Now, here's a video that shows exactly why Gavin Newsom is being investigated. Okay, among the many things, the many reasons that I just listed. Okay, here's the reason why he's being investigated. 1 second.
Wow, so now we know why California Governor Gavin Newsom posted this video where he accuses President Trump for directing his DOJ to investigate him, his wife, and former employees because he's considering running for president. And there's a shocking piece of information that he failed to tell you, which is no wonder why they are being investigated. You see, according to Adam Housley on X, as I have reported several times and now acknowledged by the governor of California, Gavin and his wife are under federal investigation. What he failed to tell you, this began during the Biden administration, kind of a big detail. And as you can see, Grok confirmed it is true and said that the investigation that stemmed from whistleblower complaints is not a brand new Trump directive. Not only that, Gavin failed to mention that his former chief of staff pled guilty to 3 felonies in May: bank wire fraud, false tax returns, and false statements to federal agents, which again began under the Biden administration. Not only that, this response from Jennifer Van Laar said, maybe they are investigating you because your finances don't add up, or because your wife's LLC received the deed to a $9.1 million home a week before the LLC was even created. While you still had your Fair Oaks home, how was that LLC capitalized? And not only that, Gavin Newsom's letter to the Freedom of Information Act officer was called illegal by Home and David because it is illegal to use taxpayer resources to deal with personal legal matters. The state is not being sued or investigated. You and your wife are. Sorry, Gavin Newsom. Hey, Justice Department, yet another thing to investigate. Please follow for more news. And what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so, look. So, guys, what do you think is going? Do you think they're going to find anything? Do you think they're going to find anything? Okay. Now, there's a report that's going out there's a report that's going out. I need to find this video. Yeah, so I found this report about Gavin Newsom's wife.
To Newsom's wife in the first place, and what did you find?
Well, there are just always a lot of questions that seem to be swirling around the Newsoms and their finances, have been for years. And so I thought, this is a man who clearly is going to be running for president. This is worth looking at, what their finances are, what the shape of them are. And so when I had a look at Jennifer Newsom's charity, I found that she was paying herself since 2012 $3.7 million. This is a lot of money when you look at the amount that the charity brings in. It's sort of 1 to 1.7 million a year. And she's paying up to a third of that to herself and her own company, $300,000 a year. Now, that is, I did a bit of data analysis looking at what charities that size usually pay their executives. And she was in the top 5% of all charities in the nation for pay.
So DOJ, of course, doesn't comment on the specifics of this. We've really only heard from Gavin Newsom claiming this investigation is targeting them, even though...
If this guy was able to find out that juicy piece of information, what do you think the DOJ has access to?
As we mentioned, it started in 2022 in his orbit. Do you think that the charity is the reason DOJ might be investigating her?
There's a whole bunch of reasons, potentially. There are a lot of questions around their finances. So the charity could be one of them. Now, it is legal for a charity to pay whatever they want to their executives. But one of the issues they might be looking at is who are the donors to the charity that are financing that pay? What kind of relationships do they have with the California government that Newsom is in charge of? There's also, if you look at his income, and he's released at least, partly to journalists in closed-door viewing sessions, his tax returns. And if you look at that, his income, it's about 1.2 to 1.4 million a year. And it just doesn't add up for all of his expenses. He's got massive mortgages, $625,000 in mortgage payments. He's got at least $1 million in living expenses. And the two just don't add up. I would be interested in that if I were an IRS investigator. One other thing to look at here is the way that his property transactions are structured lead to a lot of questions. When he bought his $3.7 million Sacramento estate, it was done through an LLC, but that LLC doesn't seem to have appeared on his tax returns. There's all kind of questions of why he would do it that way, and he hasn't answered those satisfactorily. Yeah. So if I'm IRS, I'm looking at that too, thinking maybe there's an issue here. We've yet to see what the actual details are.
So, look, I don't like the weaponization of the justice system. I am not like Asmund Gold, who would say, look, do to them what they did to Trump, okay? I don't subscribe to that position. But if there's a crime to be investigated, I mean, regular citizens like you and me, okay, if we did 2%, 1%, okay, of what most of these people in politics do with their finances and taxes and so on, we would be spending 50 to 100 years in prison. So why do they get a pass? Why do they get to be given the benefit of the doubt? Okay. And then now Tony is essentially saying Trump's first term, 2016 to 2020, voter fraud, 2 assassination attempts, and they didn't want him back because of all of this, all of what his administration would uncover. And that's true. I mean, that's true. Like, why are they so terrified of Trump? Why do they hate him so much? Why is it that it's been nonstop attack week after week, day after day? You know, it's crazy. Okay, guys, I would love to just hang out, okay, and talk a lot, okay, but I'm going to respect your time, but I do want to appreciate all of you. Gardening, thank you so much for just hanging in there and keeping the chat warm. Intergalactic Wrangler, you have filled up the chat with your commentary. Thank you so much. I know that you're in bed right now, maybe asleep right now. Thank you so much for being here. Tony, thank you so much for hanging in there and for your support all this time. Chrissy wasn't able to make it back. I don't think she got the message that we were returning. But it's sad that we didn't have her on the live stream. She would have had a lot more to say. We're going to, I think for tomorrow, we're going to stick to this setup. We have to get good at this setup. Things are going to get wonky. Things are going to get things are going to get things are going to break. Things aren't going to work the way they usually work. My transitions into stories might not be as smooth as they were before, but we're going to keep working on this because in order for me to provide you with the quality of commentary and bring the stories together and stitch them together, I need to have technology that helps me do that. And the last one did a great job, but suddenly it was essentially, it rebelled against me. The technology just decided to have a full-on revolt. And I think you guys seem to like this setup. You believe the audio is good. You believe the video looks good. And I think my ability to bring up the chat onto the screen is working. So we're going to keep using this till I get really comfortable with it. It means, again, my transitions aren't going to be as smooth as they used to be. I hope you will be patient with me while I break this in. So that is the good thing. The last time we tried using this on a members only live stream, we had a bunch of snafus, but I think I figured out why that happened. I think I figured out why that happened. So I think my wife tried to call me, so guys, we're going to be calling it a night. The gardening says, I think it went smoother than the members only. I like it. Yeah. I like this. It looks good. And now, do you guys need the videos to be full screen? Because I usually like to give you the experience of having the videos in full, but the dynamic of this setup is making the full screen experience a different flavor. So we're going to figure it out, but thank you for being patient. Thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for the chat. For those of you who are watching, I don't know how many are watching right now. I don't know. I don't have the count on the screen, which for me, I'm more comfortable with not knowing how many people are watching because it's distracting. Let's see. Gardening says, it doesn't matter to me which way. Thank you so much for that, Gardening. Tony says, full screen videos and host screens smaller. Okay, now, but the problem with this setup is so here's what's going on with my setup right now, okay? I have only one screen on the new computer. I don't have a secondary screen that I can set up to allow me to do a proper full screen experience. When I when I can afford to get a second screen to do that setup, then I'll be able to make that happen. So the full screen experience might kind of have some bugs. Like right now, I'm trying to go full screen on the video here, but because it's displaced on the page, it's going up just a little bit. So it's going to take a while for us to kind of get this broken in, but I'm going to do my best to offer you, 100% of me while the show is ongoing, in spite of the things that break and so on. Then I'm working on a software. I'm literally building a software that will help me kind of make some of this work easier while the live stream is on. So let's see how that goes. All right, let's see how that goes. Okay, guys, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. And for those of you that I can't see right now, how many of you are watching? Those of you who stuck with the live stream and you stayed and you came back after the last one broke, I want to say thank you for coming back and for trusting me with your attention. What I do want to do is to provide you with the best experience and to figure out how to find entertainment in the insanity that we see in the news. Now, I'm going to say something, and I hope you guys don't take it the wrong way. This is not a news channel, okay? I'm not a news channel. I'm not an expert. I try to experience the news along with you. That's what I'm trying to do. And that's why the commentary goes the way it does. And that's why I lean into the live chat. I want you guys to run commentary alongside with me. I want us to have conversations. I don't want to position myself as an expert. Guys, sometimes I don't even know as much as most of you do. So I like to have these engagements. And so this isn't like a news channel where I get to tell you guys what's going on because I am the news anchor. You and I are experiencing the news together. And so let's pretend that we're hanging out at my place and we're watching the news and we're having a conversation. Let's pretend. And let's try and make that, I'm going to try to be looser, okay? I'm going to try to be looser. I think when I'm looser, we have more fun, okay? Tonight, I really got self-conscious. So if it felt a little stiff at some point, it's because I was getting self-conscious. I was worried about the way the live stream was going earlier. The live stream kept breaking. I was worried that I would lose the people who had joined the live stream, and many times when the live stream goes live, there are people who don't know me or who aren't subscribed to the channel who join, and then they see everything falling apart and they just go and never come back. So I got really anxious about that and I really wanted to fix it, but it kept breaking. And then I had to take about 10 minutes plus to set up the new stream on software that I wasn't sure about. And then we had to start all over, and so on. So it was a bit stressful this evening. I tried to kind of, power through it, but it was very distracting and stressful. I want to be looser. I want us to have fun. I want us to look at the news and figure out how to laugh and have fun while we watch the insanity that we're being subjected to. So thank you guys. I really appreciate the fact that you guys hung in there, and I really do appreciate it. Tomorrow is Friday. All right, so tomorrow is the last live stream of the week. I hope you guys make it for that event. And we have the Discord server. I keep forgetting to talk about the Discord server. We launched a Discord server a couple of days back, and Tony is on the Discord. Gardening is on the Discord. We're inviting everyone to please jump on the Discord. The Discord server link, it's I think it's available in the description of this video. So you can go into the description of this live stream video and click on the link, and it will take you to the Discord server. What are we planning for the Discord? We want to build our community there. Chrissy dropped out of the live stream because she didn't get the message that we were restarting. And we were talking about Chrissy and gardening, getting together, you know, and doing some things together because they have similar interests. And we figured, okay, a Discord server would be great. It masks, it gives you privacy. You don't have to share things like email addresses or phone numbers. You can communicate, you know, anonymously, not anonymously, but it shields your private information and it allows you to connect with people. And it's our private server. We're not selling your information to companies that want to market to you. It's all people who want to hang out, people with like minds, people with similar values coming together and wanting to hang out and connect in a deeper way. And we figured that would be a great way to do it. So we kicked off the Discord server. We have things coming down the pipe, right? You know, for the Discord server, things that would allow the community to thrive. We're still working things out, but for starters, we just want you to know that there's a place where you can meet people of like minds, people where you can talk with people who kind of have the same convictions like you. You're not crazy. We see the same things you see, and it would be great for you to have people that you can speak with and you know, share this crazy experience with and have fun while you're doing it. Gardening says, well, I think you did a great job getting it done and it went smoothly after. Good show. Thank you so much. Thank you for letting me know. I am a perfectionist. Okay, I'm a perfectionist. I want things to be done right, and I want them to be done perfectly. If one thing is out of line, it distracts me to no end. And when this happened, it was really hard for me to get to stay focused and, you know, keep going. But thank you guys. You guys staying and, you know, watching and chatting and keeping things going made the difference. And staying up to this point to hear me ramble about how, you know, the show went is extra, because it shows that you guys are really into what we're trying to build here, and I do appreciate the support. Thank you so much. All right, now we're going to be calling it a night. I want to say good night, and I want to say that we'll be back again tomorrow evening. If I'm tempted to live stream tomorrow because I need to test this platform a little better, maybe I will. I'll just go live, and if you see me go live, jump in. But if you're part of the Discord, server, you will get the inside scoop. I get to tell you, hey, I'm about to go live, and you get to know before everyone else. So that's one of the perks of just joining the Discord server. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. There's a free tier. You just hang out and you're part of the community. So I just wanted you guys to know that, because I keep forgetting to talk about it. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the views. Thank you for the eyeballs. Thank you for being so supportive. I will be back tomorrow night, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.